This One News update is brought to you by ANZ, proud sponsor of the New Zealand Olympic team.
And there's a demand also to act to get so many of our children out of the poverty trap. A new report says 270,000 are living on the breadline. That's triggered fiery debate in Parliament, which we'll see from political editor Corin Dann shortly. First though, Renee Graham joins us with details from the Children's Commission report. Renee.
Good evening. Well, it's estimated that child poverty costs taxpayers between $6 to $8 billion a year. And one expert who helped write this report says efforts so far to combat child poverty have been piecemeal and poorly coordinated. He says that we owe it to our children to do much better.
Cannons Creek School in Porirua already provides breakfast and fruit for hungry students. A Children's Commission report recommends funding a $3 million a year scheme to provide meals for around 15,000 students in the country's poorest schools.
That could be very beneficial, particularly for our children. You know, there's quite a lot of them who don't have lunch each day.
Child welfare experts say New Zealand tolerates far too many children living in poverty. It wants the government to do more, including restarting the universal child payment for children up to 6 years old, starting at $150 a week and gradually reducing. Rebalance the family tax credit to better help large families or families with young children. Create a mandatory warrant of fitness for rental houses. About 700,000 houses are cold and damp. And team up with the banking and community sector to provide social lending and reduce debt.
These children are not being fed properly, and they're not living in houses that are warm and...
The government's already met with the Commission and is considering some of the recommendations.
There's some argument that we do need to try and work and improve the quality of the rental stock that we have in New Zealand. The government's taking its own steps to get its house in order, so to speak, with state housing.
But the Prime Minister's ruling out a universal child payment.
We went away from that some years ago. In New Zealand we have a very targeted system through Working for Families.
They will not acknowledge that there are so many people, so many children living in poverty. It's an unbelievable indictment on New Zealand that poverty levels have gone up the way that they have.
For those on the breadline, the problems are all too real.
All right, Renee, what else is being urged to beef up the response to child poverty?
Well, the Children's Commission wants a Children's Act created which will set targets for combating child poverty in law. It wants enshrined in law goals like reducing severe poverty by 50% in the next 10 years, for example. It says by doing this, it would create much greater accountability from the government and from government agencies too.
At Parliament, Renee Graham, thank you.
And there's been a stinging attack on the track record of John Key's government when it comes to poverty. This from political editor Corin Dann.
Opposition MPs, armed with new reports on child poverty, turned their sights today on the Prime Minister.
The number of children living in hardship has increased to 21%.
That's 1 in every 5 New Zealand children, while the rich, under his watch, keep getting richer.
Is inequality at the level it is now acceptable to his government?
John Key was unfazed.
The global financial crisis, as it is everywhere in the world, is hardest felt by lower income people.
But things got heated when the Green MP Matiria Ture asked if the government will provide a payment for all children in poverty.
We're in an unequal society in New Zealand in her view because the rich are getting richer, and now she's on her feet telling me give the rich families even more for their kids. What a dopey idea that is.
The opposition wasn't done though. Social Development Minister Paula Bennett next in the firing line.
Is the global financial crisis the sole cause of an increase in hardship, decreases in real incomes, job losses, higher housing costs, higher outgoing to income ratios, and those on higher incomes doing better than they were 3 years ago? If so, how?
Paula Bennett, like John Key, reminding Labour of the impact of the global financial crisis.
We have to work our way out of that, and over a period of time, but with targeting and concerted effort in that area. This government is making it.
Whether or not it is making progress on poverty will ultimately be something the electorate will judge in 2 years' time. Corin Dann.
This One News update is brought to you by ANZ, proud sponsor of the New Zealand Olympic team.